Hello, Happy New Year. Alright, so very basic today. I'm cold and it's really cold, so let's just start roasting these college projects. Let's see. Alright, Graphic Design Principles 2 was the class I took. So this project, we had to combine two things together. So you could only use two to three colors. So I combined an elephant with a palette, a color palette, and very basic, but when the class was critiquing, they were saying how I still could have used more colors, but I was like, you can only use 2 to 3, so what's your problem? But other than that, I still like it. Not really a roast for this one. Yeah, and I organized my stuff. The really crappy ones can go in the garbage, but I just wanted to roast these first. Okay, this is the same class, different project. We had to make 3D art, and the deadline was so tight I had to like basically change my original concept. So you use a word and then you make something three-dimensional out of it, like you make it to you'll see when I show you. So I chose the word jungle, and my original idea was to have like a jungle background and have the word jungle in 3D and then have some vines and stuff and animals around it. But due to lack of money and lack of time, I had to completely change my original concept. So I painted the background, cut out the original background and pasted it and made these three-dimensional letters for jungle. And I drew and painted these leaves over it. One of them fell. This project is really old. I took this class in 2012. So it's a nice sky with the clouds and the grass and the water. And I think, did I do this? I think I did this with gouache paint. All of this is in gouache. And I like folded them and made them a little more three-dimensional. I hope you can see that. I liked it. Although I felt like I could have done more with it if there was enough time. Well, here's the broken leaf. Alright, so this was for typography class. Was it 1 or 2? I don't remember. So anyway, we had to make a type book, and this professor was very strict. She had very strict guidelines. You could only use black and white, and the only place you could use color was like the cover and I think one other page. And I didn't really care for this, so I just came up with this whack cover here. I didn't know much about typography then, as I do now. I won't show the whole thing, but this is basically what we have to do. So you choose an artist or some sort of celebrity, and every page you do has to be based on their name. And it's about typography, so you do it different ways. All of these, like this grid and everything, those were the guidelines. The tints and whatever, like it's really not extravagant, but it was still a pain in the butt. This is just an S as a pattern. I really like how this one came out. They had to do something fancy with one of their quotes, and it says, once a song's out there, it's no longer mine. And that's the whole purpose of music, to belong to people. Now, as y'all know, may or may not know, Sade is one of my favorites. I've been listening to her since I was in the womb, so that's why I chose her. And I made a logo because that was one of the projects. Oh. Apparently I was supposed to use I didn't do this properly. I was missing something. But to be honest, after a certain point, I just lost interest in this project. But I did work very hard on it. Because you know how there's like some students who just don't care and then they get like decent grades, but you actually put in your hard work and then you don't get the same. It's like, how are you grading us? Okay. This was type 3, typography 3. And we had to make some visuals using one word. I chose the word angry because I was mad about something that semester. I don't remember. And you have to put it on foam core. So I just painted the word angry on here with acrylic paint. And angrily painted it as I did it. I was just angry about something that semester. I think I was like, why do we have to do this? Was it the demo? I don't remember. I was mad, so I did this. And then, even though I was mad, I like how it came out. Then you had to make a graphic of like textures of words. So here it is again. And I used the Impact font, which is like the same font that you see on memes. And in case you were wondering what Impact is, and I used like different textures that could be used as rough and angry and whatnot. And there's different textures to it if you could feel it. It's 3-dimensional. And there's more to this project. So here's the same thing I just showed you. Took a picture. Well, I scanned it and then put it here because we have to do 3 different things of and put it of the word angry or the word you use and then put it next to an image. So that's the same thing I just showed you. I scanned it and then put it here. And I have Van Gogh here because I feel like he looked angry in this picture. And as you know, may or may not know, he's also like my favorite painter. Which is like why I started to get into painting. I wanted to be an artist when I was little. And then I didn't want to anymore. I wanted to do something more with it. Then I used that same painting I did of the word angry and put it here. And this image was originally for another project I was doing that semester. But I said, okay, I can just use that and put it here. So yeah, I drew this using Adobe Illustrator. Oh, typography 2. Yeah, so the other book I showed must have been typography 1. Alright, and then this one I used shapes from objects and made them into letters. So this was from a stool, which is the A. The N is from, I think, a Dasani water bottle. The G is from a cord. The R is from the pump from the soap, the liquid soap. And then the Y, I rotated the H in bath on the clock in the bathroom. And I chose the Mona Lisa because no one really knows what she was feeling in this picture. She's just so neutral. So I just said, okay, she she's angry, and then put it there. It's deep. I have a lot. This one, I got kind of annoyed because we have to draw something for an article, and I thought I did pretty good. Then the professor was like, no. And I was like, okay. So you have to do like one of those drawings based on an article you read. So this is about the MetroCard Fair for the MTA. And I was basically saying how they're money hungry and they have so much money that they just bathe in it. So that's what I did here. They have so much money. This guy is just obsessed with money. They have so much, they're just bathing in it. They do whatever they want with it, was the point. And the professor told me that the tub has to represent something, and I was like, he's just bathing in the money. Why does the tub have to represent? So I was saying, why does the tub have to represent something? It's just holding in place the thing that he's bathing in. He's bathing in the money. So once he told me that, I was like, okay, whatever, and I just put it away and was like, whatever. I got a B on it, but when he said that the tub should represent something, I just didn't care about the project anymore. I mean, I take criticism very well, trust me, because I've been criticized for years. But when he told me that, I didn't really understand why that had to necessarily have a meaning aside from what I was saying. So I was just like, Now we can begin a roast, because I talked about this in another video, but that video I don't like it because it wasn't a real roast. So let me tell you, background story. This professor was one of the worst I've ever had. He wanted to be called Zygon. He always came late, and he smelled weird. He taught us nothing. He would rush through everything, and then he would be mad if you weren't on the same page as him. It was called Raster and Vector class. Raster is like for Photoshop, and Vector is like for Illustrator. So we spent, okay, a semester is 15 classes, right? So 14 classes was on Vector. 1 class was on Raster. So, and we basically learned nothing. He would spend, that class was from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. It was 11:20 p.m. He would let us get out at 11 sometimes. And he came late, made a big deal about attendance all the time, and he would show up late, and then he wouldn't take attendance till the very end of the semester, of the class rather, excuse me. And it's just so much. And we had 2 projects out of that whole course, and I liked neither of them. One of them I can't find. If I find it, I would show it and roast the crap out of it. But I have this one, which I think I only kept it so I can roast it, and plus Obama's on it. And so we basically had to make an accordion book, which comes out like this, right? So for starters, like I'll take a picture and then post it, but for starters, he told us how to make it, right? Then when it was time to present, he said, so someone got it professionally printed instead of at home, which is what he told us. He said, oh, why didn't you guys do that? And we were like, you told us to print it at home, get watercolor paper, print it on there. So that's what we did. And then he said, then the day of presenting, he said, oh, y'all should have did this. So I wasted my ink and my time. But anyway, so we had to come up with a concept, and mine was about your vote counts, because this was during the election between Obama and Mitt Romney. So here's Obama, and here's Mitt Romney, and they're pointing at each other. Again, I'll show the whole photo. And in the middle is just a bunch of photos. And then he said, oh, you can draw, so just draw something. So I drew this and then put it in there. I really didn't care at this point. So I wanted it like black and white to save ink. And he said, it's too plain, add color, add this, add that. Like, I like simplicity, but he just said to put all this stuff in there. So that's why you see stars and the Democrat and Republican logos in there, if you can see it. And I ended up hating it. Like, I put it in Illustrator, I did an image trace, so, and then put like, this came out really good, that it was hanging to show in the hallways of the department. This is a storyboard. We had to use ink, so I drew it in pencil and then used the ink to draw it in. But anyway, there's a boy, he's walking to wherever he needs to go. Oh, the title of this is called The Unpleasant Walk. So he's walking, and then he sees this girl approaching, and as you can tell, he's already looking pissed off. Like, ugh, I really don't want to see her today. Then she comes up to him and starts talking to him, and that's when he tells her off. And he's walking off, and she's looking back like, man, he really told me. Now he's leaving. Well, he's still walking to catch his bus. I guess that's where he was walking in the first place. Now he's at the bus stop, about to get on the bus. Now he's on the bus, at the window seat, thinking about what just happened. And that's it for that one. So this wasn't really a roast. I have more stuff, so I'll probably do a part 2. I just really wanted to get this out of the way, so while I had the free time. So I don't know when I'll be able to do part 2. Hopefully sometime this month, but if not, hopefully next month. I make videos whenever I can. This is long overdue. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Have a wonderful year. Okay, bye. Hi. What? Hello. Goodbye. Say bye-bye.